Hello to all you converts to Functional Solutions International Proprietary Limited Smart Suite version 3, and to a welcome to the users that have upgraded from previous versions to Smart Suite version 3. I just want to reiterate once again that unlike any of our competitors, for the last 35 years, all our upgrades are absolutely free of any cost, without any exception, no excuses. So we don't turn around and say, well, you can upgrade, but there's a cost to convert your data, or you can upgrade, but there is a cost to convert your reports, or you can upgrade, but there are no buts with us. All our upgrades are free, have been free for the last 35 years, and probably will be free moving forward for the next 35 years. So what's new in Smart Suite? The screen you're looking at is our OPAC and inquiry screen. That hasn't changed, not in this version, but towards the end of this year, we're going to have a brand new OPAC, and there's some exciting news and changes for you. But other than the OPAC, everything else has been upgraded. So to look at the upgrades and look at some of the functions and talk about how you can go about doing things, we're going to deal with patrons, then we're going to deal with borrowing parameters, we're going to deal with cataloging manual, cataloging SKIS, spine labels, and reports. We've only got 30 minutes, so it's going to be a quick run around. You've got questions, please raise it. So the first thing is patrons. You come down to patrons. Now, obviously, you have to be logged in as a librarian. So that's a sign out. So you can see I'm logged in. If I was not logged in, it'll say sign in. So once you've logged in as a librarian, you go to patron and you go to patron management. When you go to patron management, it's a totally different screen that you used to have. Now, all the details about the patron are up here. Okay? And anything to do with anything with the patron is all up here. Okay? And when you log in, when you click patron management, it's always going to come up with the record that you have logged in with. So you can do a find. Click on find at the bottom and just type in S and hit enter, and they will come up. Or you can go SMI, and anyone with SMI will come up, and you can just go and click on a patron and that'll bring up his records. Now let me explain. The command center is on the bottom, so if you want to delete a patron, you do a find, bring the patron up, hit delete, and then you can go ahead and delete the record. You can't accidentally delete it. You have to go and enter it again. Okay, now if you want to add a new patron, you just go new, and you'd give him a barcode. Okay, you can give him a username, you don't have to. So his first name is Sandy, and the surname is Smith. And the email address, you don't have to. So class grade is he's a year 8, and he's in the year 8 homeroom of 8D, and you can just go ahead and click save. And that's all you need to do to be able to have Sandy Smith on your system. Now let's have a look at the next screen. The next screen, you have external ID, you have surname. 90% of people don't use that. In the advanced screen, can they borrow? You can see it's automatically yes. Okay, TV for education, if it was a teacher, yes, they can download from TV for Education, and yes, they can stream directly from TV for Education. Okay, address, if you want to send overdue notices by mail, really old-fashioned way of doing it, you can. You put it in there, and we can then send an email to that address. Parent details, if you want to send information to the parent, and loan limits. You don't have to worry about loan limits, because as you apply certain class grades to them, they will automatically get the global parameter for loan limits. So in this case, he can borrow 7 books for 14 days because of the class grade that he's in. But you can say, no, he's a very, very good reader, so we're going to upgrade him to 10 books instead of 7. and we're going to allow them to have it for 30 days instead of 14. Now, if you're going to change any of these limits, you need to make sure you go lock this limit, because if you don't lock their limit after you've changed it, what's going to happen at night time, the system's going to check all the year 8s. It'll check this person, say, oh, this is different, and then it'll reset it for you. Okay, so that's all the loan limits over there. Make sure that if they're a student, they can't borrow multiple copies, so by default that's off. And if that was a teacher, and you can say they can borrow 300 books or 300 books, and they can borrow it for 365 days. Okay, so if they come to borrow a book that has a 14-day limit and you want them to have it for 300 days, if it's a teacher, don't forget to put the override. Now, obviously, if you selected a teacher's borrowing limit, those parameters will be automatically set for you. But if you want to do it for anyone else and set it manually to different to what they are, remember, lock the patron's loan limit. That's what you would do there. Okay. Now, if you want them to have access outside of the school, they will be able to log in with their barcode. You can also make sure that they can log in with their username, and you can make up the username. My recommendation is first name dot Smith, and make that their username. Everybody remembers their first name, full stop, surname. They can also log in with their email at. It has to be an educational email, so it has to be an edu somewhere in the email. So in this case, this person can log in with the barcode and or their username and or their email address, but it will ask them for a password. You might have a policy that you're a primary school and therefore everyone's password is going to be simple. So you'll go to change password and you'll just make the standard password of password, and that's what you'll do. You'll just make their password the same and you'll go change the password. Okay, and now once you've changed their password, that's it. You can say that's how they do it. But if you're a secondary school and you want to give everyone the same starting password, you can go change the password on next login, and what that will do is that will make sure that their passwords change on the next login, and then go save. Okay, now if you can say I don't want the login there and basic, I want the login and then I want the parent information, then I want the basic. So you've got a cog for change or settings. You click on that and you go and you say I want the parent information to be after that field. Okay, parent to be after the basic, after the login there, and then I want the advanced to be after the basic. Okay, now we got login, parent, advanced, and if you click the save, then next time someone uses the patron screen, that's what it's going to be like. So that's how simple it is to add a patron, change a patron, delete a patron, do anything on the patron. And if you hit the email button here, once you've created a new password for them, you can even click that. And as long as they've got an email address there, we will send an email to them with all their login information, with the URL for your site and their password. And they will be able to now use the system. So adding a patron is very straightforward. Now remember how I said a class grade is a year 8 and they get all the borrowing parameters that are assigned to year 8. So if you need to know where are these borrowing parameters set, that's easy. You go to the menu, you go down to classification, and then you will go to the authority file. When you click on the authority file, it's an alphabetic sequence. So it'll always have audience up the top. And when you click there, you need to get down to class grade. You click on class grade and there's all your year levels. And if there's one there that doesn't exist, so if you say, oh, but we also have year 3s and or year 5s, no, year 3s, and I haven't got a year 3. So you just go ahead and you create one. If you want to change any of them, or if you want to look at all their borrowing parameters, you just click on the pencil for the appropriate year level, and they'll come up with the security rating. So if you say, you know what, I'm going to use the security. So if I say my year 7 has a security of 7, I can go to my resources, my teachers' resources, and make them 50 for teachers, which means a year 7 will never be able to borrow anything of a higher resource than them. If there's some senior fiction and you mark all the senior fiction as 12, then a year 7 person, which is below a 12, will never be able to borrow senior fiction. If this was year 12 and you made that security a 12, they will be able to borrow the year 12 security item. So on the cataloging record, when we come to it, I'll show you where the corresponding security for the catalog record is. Your final borrowing date, your expiry date, your loan limit, loan period, and multiple copies, no. Patron can override, no. And then all you do is you just go save, and that's it. And when you hit that save, within a fraction of a second, every person in your system that was a year 7 will now get all these new parameters. Then you just exit out and go, I'm going to now do my year 8s. So you go into your year 8s and you set them up, and then you hit save and you close, and so forth and so on. So that's where your patrons are done, your borrowing parameters are done. It's very easy, very simple. You don't have to wait for the end of the day for that to take effect. Whenever you hit the save button, instant now. Okay, there's no end of day procedure, and you don't have to wait for things to happen. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to catalog a poster. It doesn't exist on SCIS. Or we're going to catalog a book that SCIS hasn't cataloged yet. Or we're going to catalog an iPad or an Android pad. So in other words, we're talking about cataloging. To get to the cataloging screen, not the SCIS cataloging screen, just the normal cataloging screen where you're going to add a record, change a record, delete a record, exactly the same as what we've done with the patrons. Easy. You just click on your menu button, go to catalog, and catalog. And of course, because you've added a patron, changed a patron, delete a patron, you should have absolutely no problem doing the same with the catalog record, because the layout and the functionality is exactly the same. So it'll always bring you up with the first record in the collection. You can go next record, next record, next record, next record. Okay. Or you can go, I want to find a record, and I'm going to look for a record that starts with cat, and that's the one I want, and up it comes. Okay. So you can find a record. So when I go find, all the finds are the same. All the fields, no, I can look for barcode, I can look for book ID, I can look for ISBN number. But if you just put it into the search field where it says all fields, we couldn't care less what information you give us. We'll search all the fields to bring up that information. And of course, I've brought up that particular book. And there it is, ISBN. So you fill out whatever you like. If you want to go to the author, you just click on the author. If you want to go to Illustrator, click on subject, you go to subject. If you want to add a new subject or any one of these tabs, you just go to a blank line and just type in, okay, animals, and it'll go animal drawing. That's it. And if you go in here and you want to add another one, King of the Animals, that's my title. So if it doesn't exist in the authority file, it'll tell you it doesn't exist. And if you went OK, it'll add it to the authority file, and it will add it to the system. Okay, and that applies for all of these informations here. And again, just like the patron screen, you can click on that cog and you can move all the tabs around any which way you like. Okay. Now, if you are in a catalog screen and you're in the basic area, and if you want the copies, this has changed quite a bit as well. So just click on the copies, and there they are. All your copies are down here. You go, yeah, but where's my supplier, and where's my cost, and where's all my other bits of information about the copy? So if you want more information about any copy, you go to the barcode that you want information on and just click on that little down arrow. Click on that down arrow, and there it'll tell you about the cost center, the supplier, and guess what? So when you go to the supplier, and it's called GK Books, okay, if he doesn't exist, you just go Okay, add them to my authority file, and GK books will now be added to the supplier. So everything in this system is all update authority files on the fly. Okay, now if this was a bunch of iPads, why not click the asset button and fill in the asset register? Now all of this information only applies to this one barcode. So if you've got 16 iPads, you have to go to every one of your items, your barcodes, click on the asset and put all the information in about every one of those barcodes that you've got here. So you've got an asset register. If the iPad goes out for maintenance and you get a report back, why not click on the maintenance and put in the maintenance information about that? So you've got a continuous running history of all the maintenance that's been done on the system. If it's a kit, why not click on the kit and allocate that this is the barcode of the box, and here are the books that belong in the box. So you got 30 books, just go zap, 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 zap 30 times, and all your barcodes for all those items will appear here. And so there'll be 30 items, 30 individual books that belong in this one kit. And the advantage of that is that when you go into circulation, what you will find is that when you enter the barcode of a book, it'll tell you here are all the items, and you can go and go loan, and all the kit items will go out as well. Okay, so that's a really neat way of cataloging kits. And when you circulate kits back into the system, it'll pop up and say, you just gave me a barcode of a box, you're supposed to have these 30 items. So you can then say yes, they came in, or just flag the ones that are not there. Okay, and if you want to say that that item is now lost, you can just click on lost. But there is a better way to flag the loss. We'll deal with that when it comes to circulation. Now if you want to add a new record, just go new, and it says you've made changes. If you continue, I'll drop all those changes. Go, that's fine. So when you go new, there it is. It's just a blank screen, and you can go ahead and you can manually type in whatever you like. Okay, however, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab an existing record and grab the ISBN number, and I'm going to pretend that this book doesn't exist on my system. Okay, so let's just grab a new screen. So here we go, we've got cat, and I'm working away, and all of a sudden I come across a new book. I just go new. Now I can manually type in all the information, but just as a last check, why don't I just zap in the barcode and check and see if SKIS has that book? So if you click on that magic little button on the end there, that will go to SKIS, and if it exists on SKIS, it'll bring the book down. So there you go. It's brought the book down. It's brought everything. So let's go to the authors. Yep, that's the author. Illustrator, there's no illustrator. Subjects, those are the subjects. Series, there's no series in there. What about the editor? There is no editor. Notes, there's no note. Genre, okay, we now have genres in there. Additional titles, oh, there you go, it's got an additional title. And who's the publisher? So basically, by just putting in that ISBN number and hitting that button, it's brought the catalog record down from SKIS. So now when I go into copy, I can just go in here and zap in my barcode. Okay, and I can put in the call number, or I can just go, yep, that's available, and no, it's not in there, it's in the art department, and the sublocation is the not applicable. And then the loan type, I can click on here. On the loan type, it's a fortnightly loan, and the renewal is a fortnightly renewal. And if that's all there is to my collection, okay, I'll just go save. Now, if you save and there is certain pertinent, important information that it must have, don't worry about it, because it's going to tell you. It says the media cannot be blank. You go, okay. So you just click on the media field and say, tell it what kind of media it is. It's a book. And now go save. And that's it. And you'll notice if a copy exists, it comes up. But let's say, for argument's sake, this wasn't a book. Therefore, it didn't have an ISBN number. It was just a camera, or it was a laptop, or it was a poster. So why not photograph that item, okay? And then once you've cataloged the book, just go upload and it'll take you to your PC where the photograph image is stored. Okay, you just go into there and you click on the image and you just go open. When you click open, within a second the photograph will appear here. Very fast to do that. And you can do the same with a patron record as well. So if you photographed a patron, you'll notice on the patron screen it's exactly the same. You just click upload on the patron screen, click on their photograph, and up it'll come here. What name does the photograph have to be? We couldn't care less. What name does the book have to be? We couldn't care less. You just click on it and it will upload here automatically. And that's all there is to manual cataloging. It's fast, it's quick. Now we have some people go, yes, but I don't like tab, 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 tab. I like it down the screen. Not a problem. We want to keep you happy as well. So we've got the down the screen button here on the right hand side. So when you click here, you can go down the screen and it'll be in exactly the same order as the tab. So we keep the down the screen people happy and we keep the tab people happy. A lot of people like the tab. Probably 80% of people like the tab. Does it matter? No, it doesn't. You choose the way you want to work. You know, don't let a software company tell you how you're supposed to run your system. That's our motto and that's our philosophy. The next thing we're going to do is SKISS cataloging. If you like manual cataloging, you would love SKISS cataloging. It's quick and it's easy. Menu, catalog, global catalog. People say, why do you call it global catalog? Why not call it SKISS? That's because we're giving you choice. Let me go in here. Okay, so the first thing that you will do with the upgrade before you start doing any SKISS cataloging is you should be setting what your default spine label is. So if you go down to the bottom here and you click the up arrow and you click Z39, default spine label, you will have a list of spine labels in here. If you choose to get any of these spine labels, talk to us and we'll tell you what our default spine labels are. Okay, and if you save that spine label default, what's going to happen? Let's go back into the default spine label. Okay, you say, oh, but I got a stack of existing spine labels. Yes, if they're existing special kind of spine labels, you will need to rewrite your own spine label report. If you choose to spend the extra $50 and buy the default spine labels that we have, number one, your spine labels will work from start. And number two, you never have to tear your hair out trying to align them and position them and change them and what have you, because we'll guarantee all these spine labels on here, and we've got a whole host of them, they will always work. Okay, so if you choose a default spine label from one of our lists, you never have to worry about it again. Okay, now why do we call it global cataloging? Because in that list, when you go to Z3950 databases, not only do we get data from SKISS, we can get data from State Library of Victoria, Library of Congress, Mike System, and any other Z3950 organization that provides bibliographic data, either for free, like Library of Congress, like the Victorian Council Library. Okay, there are a whole bunch of organizations that provide bibliographic data for free. There are also organizations where you can pay for their services like SKISS, and you can even add them in there. And then what happens when you catalog here, it'll go to whichever one you said was the first one, grab bibliographic information, put in there. Then it'll go to the next one, say, have you got bibliographic information I don't have? It'll add it to the system. Then it'll go to the next one. Have you got bibliographic information I don't have? Add that to the system. So your catalog becomes a lot more rich and discoverable for your patrons. Okay, so we'll pretend you've just got SKISS data. So what you would do is you enter the ISBN number, you'd zap it in, and you'd zap in the barcode, then you enter the next ISBN number, and then you enter the barcode, and then you'd enter the ISBN number, then you enter the barcode, and then you enter the next ISBN number, and then the next ISBN number, and then you'd enter the barcode, and that's how you would go and catalog books. Now, what's happening is you don't have to wait for the system to catch up with you. It will go and do what it needs to do in the background. In this case, this record is already in the system. Okay, I'm guessing that this one is not, because that's not a legitimate ISBN number, so that'll become red, that'll be green, that'll be green. However, what you then used to do in the old system, you clicked on the title, and then it took you to the catalog record, and then you had to enter the supplier, the cost center, the location, the sublocation, the loan period, renewal period, and so forth and so on. In the new version, what you can do, if you've got 100 books to catalog and the first 30 are fiction, so you'll come in there, the locations fiction, the sublocations whatever, the loan period's this, and the renewal period's this, the cost center is this, the cost of the book is this, and then you just go ISBN barcode, ISBN barcode, ISBN barcode for that group. Then you'll do the next group, and you change the parameters before you do the next group. So it will inherit all of the holding information automatically. But if you've only got 15 books to catalog, and you want to put the supplier of the book and the cost of the book, and then go ISBN barcode, then the next supplier and the next cost, then ISBN barcode, then the next supplier, the next cost, ISBN barcode. The advantage is that you never have to click on any of these titles and go in and fix the record. It's done. That's it. You just exit out and go and have a coffee. Okay, but you can say, what about my spine labels? How do I get my spine labels out? Remember how we set the spine label, the default spine label here? Because you did that, all you need to do is you click on print, and okay, it's telling me spine label is not print because I didn't save that. But what you can do is, so if I went and set up my default spine label and then went print, what would normally happen, it will come up with the spine labels for these books in the order that you've cataloged them. And then you just go print. And that's all there is to it. Very simple. You can say, yes, but I've got 50 books on my shelf where I need to recover, and I want to put my own spine labels on it again. That's easy. So in that case, you click on the menu, you click on reports, you go to reports, and you'll go to the spine label report. I'll deal with reports later, but let's go to the spine label report. So there's all your different categories. Those are my catalog reports, my cost center reports, my current loans reports, my loan reports, my history reports, but spine labels. I want 12601. That's the one I want. And you just go open, and you would enter the barcodes. So you'd put in your barcodes up here. So that's my barcode, 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 that's my barcode. And then I will go generate. And there's the barcodes. And then it says over here, how many blanks do you want to leave? And I go, I am reusing a sheet of barcodes, so I'm going to leave 5 blanks, or I'm going to leave 5 blanks. Okay, and then go regenerate, and there they go. It's left all the 5 blanks, and now you can just go print. Okay, or you can go, I want to export as a PDF or whatever, but if you just hit print, it'll just print that, and that's it. So doing a spine label report is very easy in the system. Okay, so what we've gone through is we've gone through add, change, and deleting a patron. We've gone through cataloging. We've gone through SCIS cataloging and manual cataloging, and we've gone through reports. So circulation. How do I circulate? Circulation screen is generally the same. So it's automatically in loan. So you just go patron barcode, then item, 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 next patron barcode, item, 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 item. The next patron barcode, he doesn't have his barcode. So you can type in Smith, you can type in Joan, you can type in Mike, you can type in Sarah, you can type in S, and it'll give you everyone. So, okay, so you choose who you want. And if there's issues, it'll tell you, you just go, okay, and that's their loans. All their loans are in blue and white. That's normal. Any overdues are in red. Okay, it tells you how many days they're overdue. And by the way, you can change all this data. You can change that I don't want the barcode, I don't want the copy number, by clicking on that tag and play around with it. Okay. And if they want to renew it, you can just say, I want to renew this one, and this one, and then click the renew button. Or you can click up here and I say, I want to renew these. So when are you going to bring them back? Okay, on the 31st of December, no problems. So you put a date and then you click renew. But you can say, but I want to renew all of them. So you click that and that highlights all of them, and then you go renew. Or you turn and say, look, I'm sorry, Andrew, you can't borrow because you've got this book overdue. And he said, and I've got Garfield's on. No, I returned that one. You go, did you? He said, yep, I returned it. So you put a click in the one that he says he returned, and you go claim return. And you'll put in here, he said he returned it, but I don't know. And then you just go, okay. And basically the claim return has now been processed, and any books that are brown is books that he claimed he returned. It stays on his loans forever, but he can still borrow books. And the reason why we do that is because next time he comes up and he also claimed he returned this, and also claimed he returned this, you might turn and say, now hang on, Andrew, you're doing that with all your books. So we remind you to remind him that we know what he's on about. Okay. If he says he lost the book, put a tick in the box and just go, he lost it, and it's gone. And we do all the recording of who lost it, when they lost it, and who recorded he lost it. Okay. And that's all there is to circulation. Very simple, very good. If you want to return books, just click on return, zap, 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 and you can return the books. Or you can go on loans and you can loan out. I hope you enjoyed. We think it's an amazing system. And remember, the upgrades are free. So if you're not on version 3, we're not going to eat into your budget. We want you to spend your money on books, not on software companies and upgrades and all extra charges that you get charged for, when you should be putting your resources, your financial resources, into your library collection. Thank you very much.